Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead video. So in this one here, I wanted to do another Q&A video. Obviously, if you do want to take part in these Q&As, definitely post your questions on the Discord. The server name is Appetite for the Dead. The link for this should be in the description of this video. I do these every single Wednesday, so my next Q&A will be next Wednesday, and we'll discuss episode 3 and obviously episode 4 and whatever for the Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, and obviously some other questions as well, because I know a lot of people have some questions on the Rick and Michonne show and stuff like that. So yeah, so obviously before we go any further, make sure to be a subscriber if you do want to get all of my Walking Dead content like this. But let's get into the first question. Actually, before the first question, there's been some talk online I saw that there actually might be a Walking Dead appearance at New York Comic Con. Now, you know, every year at New York Comic Con, I don't really ever follow the news too much because there's not a lot of stuff that ever really gets revealed for the most part, at least compared to San Diego Comic Con. There's not a lot, but sometimes there is. It just depends on the timing. Like, the reason why San Diego Comic Con is really big for The Walking Dead is mostly because that's when the trailer is released. There's a bunch of information and it's sort of leading right into the premiere of The Walking Dead, right? And usually for New York Comic Con, when it's happening, The Walking Dead was already airing at that point, right? So there was never really nothing else to show besides other little teasers, or there would be, you know, other announcements and stuff for other things. So if there is a possible appearance there this year, there could be some announcements. I know this year's New York Comic Con is like mid-October. It's like the 12th to 15th or something like that. So I'm not entirely sure if there's actually going to be an event or anything at all. We'll have to wait and see. But there's been some speculation online because of some stuff that was posted. So obviously, if there is something, then I will do a video if there's any sort of, obviously, like news that does come from it kind of thing. Because, you know, we're basically at this point on Rick and Michonne trailer watch because they're going to reveal a trailer for that show very soon, right? Like, that show is on the verge of just a bunch of information coming out. There's a lot of stuff that they can actually reveal really at any point now. I mean, there's quite a bit. There's, I mean, any kind of footage, like 10-second teasers you could release. There's like promotional artwork and all of that. I really feel like they would be going all out with this show if it wasn't for Fear the Walking Dead. I really think that like they could reveal a teaser or release date, little things like that, but we're not going to see a bunch of promotion for it because I do think that they have to wait until Fear the Walking Dead is airing, or at least just wait until Daryl Dixon is over. Then you can kind of promote that, because while you're watching Fear the Walking Dead, you just promote your next show, right? So I think that's why we're seeing lots of Fear the Walking Dead promotion right now. It's just one of those things that we kind of have to wait. But you know what? Fear the Walking Dead, you know, it's its last 6 episodes. So to me, that in itself, I think, is also kind of exciting. And I should do a Fear the Walking Dead video, honestly, breaking down the trailer and all that, because there's quite a bit of stuff there. Troy's return is, you know, for Fear the Walking Dead fans, very, very exciting. So there is a lot of stuff that is there. The new teaser was released, obviously, when the premiere for Daryl Dixon came out. So yeah, there is quite a bit of stuff there. But let's get into the first question here. So Q&A, do you think the way they're creating variant walkers could be via the use of drugs like steroids to enhance their speed and strengths? I have no idea. Like, in terms of all the technicalities of how they're doing that and all that, I have no idea. That could be something we learn this season, though, is like, how are they doing that, right? Because they definitely are doing that. Like, it's kind of an interesting thing if you really think about, just like, I was thinking about this yesterday and I was wondering if we were ever, you know, and you know what, I'm actually going to make a note about this. Maybe I'll do a video on this later on today, because it is something that is kind of interesting, you know, in terms of variant walkers. And that is, you know, if The Walking Dead gets into the place where they want to explore walkers used as weapons and whatnot. Because if you look at Resident Evil, there's the Tyrant, there's Mr. X, and there's all these other, you know, crazy, amazing enemies. And does The Walking Dead eventually go there? I think they could. Now, obviously, creating something like Nemesis and all of that is really insane to kind of view, you know, in the Walking Dead world. But I could see, if you do it right, it could work. Like, if you actually do it right, where there's not a lot of it, because I think the thing with Resident Evil is it just got to the point where there was so much of it. Resident Evil got to the point where there was a lot of enemies constantly, and it kind of lost the focus of the story. You know, I think that a lot of the scare factor went away. There wasn't a lot of horror. It became very action focused, and it kind of lost its perspective and its focus. And if you look at The Walking Dead, you can argue that, you know, they've already sort of went through that, because earlier on it was much more horror driven, much more focused on the zombies and their journey and stuff. And, you know, things kind of got away from them a little bit in season 8. And, you know, Angela Kang came into the picture and just sort of fixed a lot of stuff up. And I think they started to focus more on the horror aspect and focused more on our characters. And yes, there were some issues with stuff still. I really think that was more budget stuff. And that's why we see with the spinoffs, the quality of the story has been so much better, right? So I think when you look at that overall, they've went through that. They understand what, fans really, really like with their characters. I think that they could probably pull it off in the future if they really wanted to just do something where at the end of season 4 of Daryl Dixon, there's like this crazy boss enemy. Because if you look at the Walker King, Dead City did that, right? That was a very cool walker. Very, very interesting walker. A lot of people got really excited about that. I think they could do something like that. I think they could really do something exciting like that where there's like this really insane walker boss. I will say though, I really feel like it needs to be Rick Grimes that fights this boss or something. Like this could be a season 2 or 3 thing. So I should actually get into that, and I really should talk about the fact that should be something that they do deal with at some point. If that show goes, say, for 2 or 3 seasons, at the end of Rick Grimes' story, there should be like this very crazy walker. Since we are getting into variants and all of that, I think there could be, I think we could go in that direction. I think it would be pretty cool. But in terms of, learning a lot more about the specifics of that, I really feel like we are going to slowly start to get into that. And, what we learned here in the first 2 episodes so far is that, I think there's going to be quite a bit of stuff that does come out here. Q&A, honestly, I just want to know how Daryl is supposed to get back home and what this all will turn into. Will he be taken by the Pacific Republic military back to America and meet up with Rick and Michonne? Will he return on his own accord to America upon learning of Rick's whereabouts? Well, in terms of how he's going to get back, it's going to be just, on a ship again. I think he's just going to take a ship and go back. In terms of, is it going to be the CRM that takes him back? A lot of those things are just stuff that we're not going to know for quite a bit, because Daryl Dixon and Dead City are probably going to go for about 5 seasons, because Lauren Cohen mentioned something about Dead City and she was hoping that it was going to go for 5 seasons. Roughly around there, so I think in their heads, they want it to go that long. So Daryl Dixon, Dead City, I'm guessing 4 to 5 seasons. I think 5 seasons probably for sure. And then in terms of Rick and Michonne, it's going to get more than 1 season for sure. It's just, I don't think it's going to be 5 seasons. Like, whenever I say that this show is going to be more than 1 season, I think what they mean by limited series is more that season 2, like season 1's coming out in 2024. Season 2 is probably going to be out in 2026. It's not going to be out every single year like Dead City and Daryl Dixon. So I think by the time we get 5 seasons of Dead City and Daryl Dixon, we'll probably get 3 seasons, or maybe that 3rd season will almost be out kind of thing, right? Because maybe that 3rd season is the final chapter of this era kind of thing. Like once season 5 of both of those shows end, the whole cast goes to The Ones Who Live season 3. And that sort of is the ending to, this era kind of thing. And so that's what I mean by we don't really know the specifics on, like, if Daryl's returning from France, is he a prisoner? Is Madame Janae at that point trading him to the Pacific Republic because of something going on, right? Like, there's a lot of drama at that point that it's way too hard to predict right now because that's years away. So, I could see how he does get back for sure. It's going to be, via a ship. I just do wonder, though, at this point, I kind of feel like Daryl's story is going to end with him going back to France. Like, I really feel like they're going to do something where they build some sort of connection with these characters. He's going to have to go back because of stuff with Rick, but I think once he saves Rick and there's some stuff there where everyone's happy and all that, I really feel like Rick and Daryl are probably going to say goodbye. And I think Daryl's going to be like, I found my place. I found my place where I'm happy. And it's going to be one of those things like Lord of the Rings, right? The ending of Lord of the Rings where Daryl just goes on the ship, says goodbye, and he's going to France now kind of thing, right? And that's his happy place, and that's where it feels like home to him. Like, I think it'd be really sad, but obviously I can totally see that happening. Q&A, would you like to see the spinoffs do more than 6 episodes a season? Personally, I love the 6 episode format. I would like them to do 8 episodes, or maybe 10. 10 could work as well, but 8 episodes I think would be just perfect. 6 I like for the first seasons. It's just, honestly, like, when I look back at Dead City, the 6 episodes worked overall for setting everything up, but like, I just needed 2 more episodes. I think if it was 8 episodes in total, that would be perfect, because there's a lot that you're able to do in terms of explaining a lot of, I guess, traveling and a lot of like just meeting newer characters and learning some other things, because there's a lot of stuff that they never got to. Like, there's a lot of things that they did in Dead City that just I really felt like needed more build up, like the stuff at the arena. There was just a lot of stuff that I think they could have built up to. And Daryl Dixon, I think there's going to be some issues there as well in terms of And, you know, in episode 3, they're going to be in Paris already. So for me, I'm okay with it in terms of the travel and all that. But I think if we had 8 episodes, you have 2 more in there where you can just explore some other stories or get into some other really cool things and just make the story bigger. Like, I think those additional 2 episodes are just, it would be so much better. If you want to do 10, do that. I would love that. But for sure, 8 episodes I would prefer. So, you know, I'm okay with the 6 episode format for like a first season, but I think for season 2, they should up it a little bit. Q&A, do you think Shane caught, what was this question? Do you think Shane caught something, I guess, because he's always rubbing his head trying to tell everybody something? I mean, I think it's one of those things with the character and obviously with John Bernthal that it just became something that was it honestly, like, little things like that with certain characters give them so much personality, it just becomes a thing. Like if you're able to do something with a character, something that the writing and the writers and all that can't really envision, it's amazing. Like Andrew Lincoln, if you think about Rick, there's certain ways he delivers dialogue that is just so Rick. There's like, you know, he tilts his head a certain way. There's little things that he does that the writers and stuff could never have come up with. It's just, that's Andrew Lincoln, right? And that's why when there's certain actors that give certain performances, when they're that amazing, it's because they make it their own. There's something about it where it's just like, wow, that is entertaining to watch. This character is very interesting, and they become just really big characters, right? So in terms of Shane, I mean, that's just the character. Like I miss Shane, I really do. Q&A, why do you think Carol was on the same ship as Daryl, if she was? Yeah, I did talk about that. That was sort of a theory video that I did. If she was on the same ship as Daryl, I mean, it's probably stuff related to Rick. There's not really another reason that I could see. I think it would have to be more of, it's just he wanted Carol to be with him, so, you know, they could find some stuff on Rick, because Carol and Daryl's relationship is very much like they definitely will always take care of each other forever, right? Like they're always going to be watching out for each other. That's never going to go away. And so I think if Daryl was gone for a long time, Carol's going to worry and be like, well, like, what's Daryl doing, right? And that's why when Daryl was out there in the woods constantly looking for Rick, who would go and see him? It was always Carol. Carol knew how to find him constantly. So I think if Daryl's on this ship and he's trying to find Rick and all of that, if he's not coming back and there's just, obviously, it seems a little worrisome, like he's missing kind of thing, Carol's going to find him. Like out of anyone, Carol is going to find him. So that's why I think Carol's on the show. And I think it makes sense that she could also be over there as well. Just because of the, you know, technicality or I guess realism of Carol. I guess if she's going to be in season 2, what is she just going to find another ship and just end up over there as well? I mean, they didn't mention there are ships going in and out of that port in France, so maybe, but you know, I think it would be kind of cool if they were both on that ship. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm gonna leave it here. Again, thank you guys so much for posting all of your questions. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.